People may not remember what you said. They may not remember your message, but they'll always remember the way that you made them feel. So how do you use this in marketing? How do you use this in sales and persuasion? How do you use this today to make people feel a certain way and then to follow through with what you are asking them to do?
Your ability to persuade others is one of the most powerful resources you will ever discover. During this eye-opening podcast, you'll join Wayne Sutton as you uncover the secrets of influence based upon science and proven in the real world.
Okay, so we're going to do this a little bit unedited. What I mean by that is I'm going to give some thoughts. I'm going to hit the pause button. I'm going to take some sales calls, some coaching calls. I'm going to come back. The reason is I really want to take a minute here and to share with you the power of the way you make people feel and how do we like control that. So I just got off a sales call. Somebody just looking for some coaching. And a couple of things come up. Number one, he let me know up front, I'm in sales. I'm in sales. Don't give me the sales tactic. He didn't say it very rudely, but if you're in sales, you've heard that. Hey, I'm in sales too. Gotcha, cool. So I recognized really quick that going through my typical rapport, discovery, deepening, transition, even criteria elicitation, although it would work, I just felt I need to do something different here. And I also felt there was a genuine connection with this person, so I walked along that path. What do I mean by that? Extremely conversational. I did some elicitation through statements instead of questions. And when I began to elicit certain emotions, elicit certain values, then we built around that. I also did some storytelling. And I want to say this, your stories are powerful. Because here, when people begin to hear stories, what do? They lower their guard. In most cases, they lower their guard. They listen. The sales resistance goes down for a moment. In my storytelling, we found a common theme. In one of the stories that I was sharing with him, we found something that caused him to open up and talk about his own guilt, his own shame for some other areas of his life. Okay, decisions he's made. So what did I do with that? Well, I thought, okay. Number one, I can relate. All the sales tactics, gimmickry, all that, it was just out of the window. Because I can truly connect with him on something that really is important to him, was important to me. Just a massive amount of respect there. Okay. So, as we progress through the call, I recognize there's a constraint. There's a spousal constraint. And I recognize, because what he has told me about his past decisions and his wife and so forth, that this is not one that's probably, and I know some of you hardcore closers think I could overcome that. Potentially, if I had pushed, but I've had such respect, and I knew this was a legitimate situation. Okay? There's situations, and then there's objections. This was a situation. So what I did was, again, told a great story, connected with his story, built some rapport on top of that, and began to separate his other options. Okay, I started telling stories that made him recognize we are the option he needs. I truly believe that, first of all. I have absolute conviction we are what he needs. So that conviction was congruent. That's another lesson. So we went through story after story after story. It became almost like two guys sitting there over a beer having a conversation. And at the end, we loop back into his gap, what he needs, what he's trying to discover. Because of elicitation, and because of the stories, I was able to say, hey, because you didn't have this kind of training this kind of coaching in the past is why you made those. It could be why you made those bad decisions. And he was like, yeah, I get that. Gotcha. So let's look ahead, future pace, what it would look like to work with us. The key is immediately after our call, he sends me a text message. Well, even on the call, thanking me for being open, thanking me for not being a hardcore closer, thanking me. And he sent me a text message after the call. And I'm not going to read it to you, but it was just a heartfelt message. And he's like, I don't know which way I'm going to go, program A or program B. But see, now he's deciding which program to do, not if he's going to do it. This, and again, there's still the spousal objection, which we need to handle. But the spousal objection is now the only objection. Okay? So now we can handle that. So what's my point? What is my point? What am I telling you to do? I want you to recognize that once we got off the Zoom call, he may not remember everything about the two programs, but he does remember how he felt. Are you with me? And he even sent me a message going, thank you. Thank you. Thanking me for the way I treated him. Thanking me for understanding. And that feeling will, as he's making a decision, whether it's logical or what he thinks logical or whatever, as he's making his decision, as he's discussing with his spouse, all of this is going to come from this place of conviction and him making the decision to work with me, not me trying to persuade him or convince him. Point is, you're never going to close 100% of the people. But if you will, the ones that you do not close, the sales you do not close on the spot, the one call close, if they remember the way you made them feel and it was positive, then you have a greater opportunity to come back with new information, come back with new connections, to come back and have another conversation and close the sale. Also, if you do 5 sales calls a day and you sell 2, you sell 1, you sell 3, whatever. Doesn't really matter. I mean, the more we sell, the better, right? But the ones that we didn't, how do you feel at the end of the call? Because with this gentleman, I am absolutely convinced he'll come into our coaching program. But even if he didn't, I know that we connected and I left the call with more energy, more excitement, and it's a better feeling, which is going to help me as I end this podcast and I jump into another call. Are you with me? Hope this has been helpful. Again, if you want more, go to yourpersuasioncoach.com. Go to our blog, updates, etc. Be sure to follow me wherever you're seeing or hearing this. And remember, you need to influence yourself before you can influence others. And when you can influence yourself and influence others, then you can go and impact the world. Make it a great day. God bless.
Go to yourpersuasioncoach.com for more powerful resources on how to influence yourself, influence others, and impact the world.